So will Bitcoin hit $48,000 by March? Okay, I know it sounds crazy. Well, guess what? A lot of people are saying that because a lot of people are comparing the pump that we're having currently to the pump back in 2019, where Bitcoin went from $4,000 up to $14,000 before pulling back to $3,800. Let me show you why so many people are comparing today to then, and it actually does look a little bit similar, but I'm going to shut that down and I'm going to let you know exactly why now is not the time to be overly bullish and why I think that downside is actually a much more likely result based on what I am seeing, which is the VIX and the dollar. Okay, so the dollar is coming out of a bottom after 4 months of downtrending price action. Same with VIX. It's been downtrending now for months, and now it's hit 5-year support. Okay, so if you don't know the importance of that, when volatility rises, the market drops. When the dollar rises, that means people are pulling their money out of other stocks, or out of stocks, out of crypto, right? And that's why the dollar is gaining more value. Because think about it, the prices of assets priced in dollars goes down, which makes the dollar more valuable because other assets are becoming less valuable, right? And since they are priced in dollars, this now makes the dollar more valuable in relation to other things, such as Bitcoin, such as stocks, or anything priced in US dollars. And so, once you realize that the dollar is coming out of massive bottom and a bear trap that it set right below that level in May of 2022, okay, you understand that this bullish momentum in the dollar is not going to fade anytime soon. This is a massive reversal, and it's here to stay, whether you like it or not. And so, if we understand that the dollar is going to begin some bullish momentum here as it's already started. Well, think about that. Once again, that means that the prices of assets in dollars, okay, that means other asset prices are going down as the dollar is gaining strength because those assets are priced in dollars, they become less valuable, which is why the dollar becomes a more powerful and valuable asset, okay, or cash becomes more valuable. Okay, so once again, once you understand volatility is inverse to the market, when volatility drops, the market goes up. Okay, when volatility pumps, the market goes down. And so once you realize that volatility is at 5-year support and it's holding that support with, it's passing the test with flying colors so far, you can see how well it's held support. Okay, let me remove my drawing that I've basically put up for us. Look at this. It hits support. 5-year support bounces off perfectly, like what, 10% now? 15%? And so once you start to see the bullish divergence in volatility, you start to see that dollar has hit its bottom. It's very hard to be bullish on this market, guys. Okay, so if you really understand the correlations that are in front of us and are at play, you understand that there's really not a lot of upside for the market. And so people can compare this fractal all they want, but let me tell you 2 things. 1, this is not 2019, and 2, we have an extremely powerful opposing correlation on the opposite end of this fractal that you're trying to, copy and paste from the past, okay? And so, once again, fractal or not, what it doesn't take into consideration is the dollar and the VIX and where they are. And so that's why I believe this fractal will fail, and that's why I definitely don't believe Bitcoin is going to be hitting 48K in the next month. So if anyone wants to take a bet on that, I will bet you a lot of money on that, okay? But I don't think anyone's going to take that bet unless you're absolutely fucking brainwashed. So I think I win this bet, all right? Now, once again, people are still posting this around and people are actually, telling people that that's what's going to happen. And so I just shut that down in today's video. So what I do believe is more likely is that, well, once again, dollar is coming out of its bottom. It can pull back a little, right? And if the dollar pulls back a little, that means there's a little bit of upside for Bitcoin, right? VIX is at support. It doesn't mean it can't pull back a little back to support before taking off, right? So you understand that there's very limited downside in the VIX. There's very limited downside in the dollar, which means there's very limited upside in Bitcoin, okay? Which once again rejects that fractal. So at this point, you can already see we actually are beginning to diverge from that fractal if you just copy and paste that over. So once again, I guess my argument is showing us then I'm probably going to be right. And so once again, if the dollar pulls back a little, if VIX pulls back a little, yeah, Bitcoin can go up a little. But once again, not by much, because these things can't go down that much from here. Okay? And so that's why your downside in Bitcoin is actually higher than the upside in Bitcoin right now. And that is why a lot of people who mocked me for calling the bottom down here at 16K on January the 4th when I longed the bottom are now getting bullish here, completely unaware of the correlations at play and what's actually happening in front of us. And so that's why a lot of people say, oh man, every time when I buy the market, it dumps. Or every time I sell my Bitcoin, it ends up pumping. Because, guys, you are the counter signal because you don't know what you're doing. You're actually just making, all your decisions are based on emotion, and it happens to be that when you make those emotional decisions, it coincides with the points in the chart that are actually going against you, okay? So that's why every time you buy, the market dumps, and that's why every time you sell, the market pumps, because you act purely based on emotion, not on the facts and what's actually happening in front of you. And that's why if you could actually see all the details, if you could see all the factors, if you could see what's happening in front of you, you would understand that once again, the upside is so limited for Bitcoin here in relation to the downside. Now, one thing I'll say is Bitcoin is outperforming the shit out of stocks right now, okay? And that's something that I've been calling for. I've been telling everyone that I am so much more bullish on Bitcoin than I am the stock market. That said, okay, just because I'm more bullish on Bitcoin than I am the stock market does not mean that Bitcoin is going to easily pump and easily defeat the macro. It's going to defeat the dollar. It's going to defeat the VIX. It's going to defeat the stock market dropping. Okay, because the reality is if the stock market's struggling to push higher, if the stock market has very limited upside, don't expect Bitcoin to be doing any crazy numbers right now. And so look, we just had a 47% pump. This is not the time to be greedy. This is a time to realize what's actually in front of us and, be taking some profits at the very least, okay? So I feel very bad for people who are going to be leverage longing the top. And as they say, leverage liquor, ladies, is how you go broke or whatever, right? Whatever that saying is. So, this is a great example of people who will be leverage longing the top and they're going to go broke in the bear market. And the funny thing is whether we go up to a little bit higher before going lower, right? Because, we could go a little higher, right? Once again, the dollar could pull back. VIX could pull back a little, which means a little bit of upside left, potential upside in Bitcoin. But overall, ultimately, if you understand the bigger picture here, you understand that Bitcoin's probably not going to go much higher in the short term, right? And so, as people leverage long the top, guess what? They end up losing all their money, leverage longing the top, and then once it's actually the bottom, right, guess what? Well, sorry, you lost all your money playing on leverage, and now when it comes time to buy the bottom, you don't even have your money, right? You don't have it because you lost it all on leverage. And that is just the nature of the market. That's what it does, right? It destroys people, and then once the bottom finally does come around, 1, you're emotionally broken, 2, you're not financially there, and 3, you don't even believe it's there. And 4, you're not even willing to get out of bed for this shit, You're like, dude, screw that. I'm done. I lost all my money in crypto. I should have never done that in the first place, So final factor and correlation I want to point out that is working against the market is the U.S. 10-year yield. So a lot of people who, maybe aren't so experienced and aren't as good as me, all right, if I'm going to be cocky, I might as well accept that and own it, and you might as well, accept that as well if you're following this channel. That's how I am, okay? So, a lot of people say, oh, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. The U.S. 10-year yield is going down from here. Well, I'll take the exact opposite stance of that, and I'm going to say bottom 1, bottom 2, bottom 3, bullish divergence. Get ready for a breakout in the U.S. 10-year yield. Now, understand that if the U.S. 10-year yield breaks out higher, okay, guess what happens? TLT, the long bond, drops. And guess what that means? If the long bond drops, stock market drops. Okay, look, long bond hit a bottom on October the 24th. Now let's go out to the S&P. Okay, and guess what? The S&P also bottomed in October, okay, October 24th, October the 15th, right? And you can see the SPY chart and the long bond chart are pretty much the exact same thing, right? So the US 10-year yield is inversely correlated to the TLT. Okay, so once again, the way you see this, guys, is the US 10-year yield is ready to push higher. Okay, bottom 1, bottom 2, bottom 3, bullish divergence. Okay, only noobs are going to look at this and say lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Only noobs will say that. Okay, so at this point, you understand that the US 10-year yield is going to break out soon. When the US 10-year yield breaks out and actually heads upwards to 4.2, maybe even 5, okay? When that happens, TLT is dropping. And once again, if TLT is dropping, okay, then the S&P 500 is also going to be dropping. So once again, a lot of people look at the 10-year yield and say it's lower highs, and that's their only reason, right, of why they think it's going to go down. Well, once again, triple bottom is one reason to be bullish. Reason number 2 to be bullish is the RSI bull divergence. Then the MACD bull divergence. Then the MACD is bullish, right? So you have 4 reasons to be bullish on this chart. Oh, wait, let's go to reason number 5. It holds at the 200-day moving average. Oh my God, it breaks above the 50-day moving average. You see, I mean, these aren't really great reasons in my opinion, but to some they are, right? But, you know, someone said, oh my God, it broke above the 50-day moving average. Well, look, it also got above the 50-day moving average here and dropped. You see, so it's not the greatest reason. People who say, oh, it's a moving average, oh my God, surely it's above both, now it's bullish, right? But overall, you have 6 reasons to be bullish on this chart, and you have 1 reason to be bearish on it, maybe, is some noob will say, oh, lower high, lower high, lower high. If anything, this looks like a bull flag as well. So actually, I'm sorry, 7 reasons to be bullish on the 10-year yield, and that means you have 7 damn reasons to be bearish on the TLT, which means 7 more reasons to be bearish on the stock market. And another thing I'd like to point out is that as the US 10-year yield has hit a triple bottom, oh my God, who would have thought that the TLT hits a triple top with bearish divergence? Holy crap, it's just like they're inversely correlated. Oh wait, because they are, okay? So once again, if we can predict what the US 10-year yield is going to do, we can predict what the TLT is going to do, which is going to tell us what the S&P is going to do. And then another reason why I'm so confident that the US dollar has bottomed, guys, is because look at what happened to gold. Okay, so as the US dollar bottoms, gold has been outperforming, it's been going strong, it's been doing amazing, and all of a sudden it drops from 1975 down to 1875. That is a massive, massive drop. And now they're buying gold just on low volume. And you got these massive red candles and these tiny, tiny green candles. Kind of reminds me of that saying, stairs on the way up, elevator down, right? Well, on this case, it's elevator down, stairs up, elevator down is kind of what I see it as on gold. Okay, so once again, the fact that gold had the sharpest drop we've seen in probably a year, okay, in so long, to me, that signifies the bottom is definitely in for the dollar. Okay, we haven't seen gold make such a sharp move lower since July. And look what happened in July. Elevator down, stairs up, elevator down, stairs up, elevator down, okay? Then I had this, relief rally for a month, back the heck down, okay? So once again, I'm very confident that the dollar is indeed bottomed at this bear trap that I called perfectly in advance. So guys, hopefully all these correlations I've broken down to you in this video make sense and you get them. Because if you get them, the market is much clearer. It makes a lot more sense, and you're not just acting purely based on emotions. You understand these correlations are strong, they're important, and you see the particular thing happening at the particular time at the particular point in the chart. Okay, and so when you see all these things lining up for yourself, you understand like when to switch bullish, when to switch bearish, when to switch bullish, when to switch bearish. It's based on the correlations, the levels, where they're hitting. And basically, you have to start with one, move, and work your way into another. And when it all lines up and they coincide together, that's how you get a very strong feel and understanding of the market. And that is my breakdown to you in today's video. So if that all made sense to you, if you enjoyed this analysis, drop a like on this video. Make sure you're subscribed for future videos. And that is why I don't believe Bitcoin is going to be hitting 48K. And that's why I think actually we're closer, much, much closer to the top of this rally than we are to the middle of it or the bottom of it, as many people think. All right. So final thing I should probably point out as well, guys, is that every bear market in Bitcoin has ended with pretty much some kind of a double bottom. So for example, let's go back to the bear market over here in 2019. You can see bottom number 1, and then look, this was in December, okay, and then it comes back in February for the second bottom. Or another way to look at this is it came back for a higher bottom back here in April, right? So that's one way, is you could look at this as bottom number 1, bottom number 2, about, look, December the 2018, and then it sets the next bottom in 2020 in March, so about a year and a half later, right? So I just want you to look at that bear market. Now let's go back to the next bear market. You can see back here in 2015, we set this major bottom, okay, in December, all right, December/January. And then guess what? We come back down for a second bottom in August, so about 8 months later. And that was the bottom there. So you can see the bottoms for the last 2 bear markets. It's that same little first bottom, then you make that second higher low bottom about 8 months to a year and a half later. So let's go back to the previous bear market before that. Over here in 2011, we set a bottom in October, came back, set that bottom in November, December. Okay, and obviously Bitcoin was much more fast-paced at this point, a much smaller market cap, and it, obviously it was growing at a much higher rate at that point, because, I mean, if you go from like 10 people using Bitcoin in the world to like 30, oh my God, you just tripled your user base, right? So obviously Bitcoin is much more fast-paced in 2011, at least its growth, right? So anyways, you got this first set of bottoms, and then obviously keep in mind it's a much faster-paced Bitcoin. But, maybe you could say or argue that in February it came down for a second bottom. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, this is just when Bitcoin was too fast-paced for there to even be a second bottom, really, So, I mean, look, this is just what history shows us, okay, kind of. This one's a stretch, I gotta admit, right? And then, obviously, over here in 2014 to 15, because this chart looks a little different, but once again, I don't know why it looks different on here than the other chart, but basically, once again, you had bottom 1 in January, and you came back for that second bottom in August, all right? So, from what I see, guys, all right, most of the time, I mean, we don't have that many times to show this, but look, first bottom, second bottom higher, first bottom, second bottom, first bottom, okay, come back for that second bottom. And so what I think we've seen is first bottom, okay, and then 8 months later, second bottom, slightly higher, right? So I do think 16K was the bottom, but based on what you're looking at, right? Here the bottom was higher than the first one, and here it was like equivalent, right? So the way I see it is based on what we've seen in the past, and it makes a lot of sense too, based on everything that Bitcoin can absolutely come back down. So maybe we set the second bottom later on in the year at 18K. Right? That looks pretty Bitcoin-like to me, Bam, 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 right? So that could happen. Or, we come back down to 16K, right around an equivalent level, and bottom there later in the year. You see? So, this is what I see, guys. You can see what you want to see, but, this is my opinion on the market. This is what I see in the market. So, yeah, I don't see a ton of upside for Bitcoin. And it reminds me a lot of this 2015 reaction. And then, this 2019 reaction, remember, this is once the Fed was done raising interest rates. They actually backed off on raising the interest rates, and that was the bottom, okay? So here, we haven't stopped raising interest rates, but hey, if right, so that's the thing, right? People expect this pump to continue, but the thing is we haven't stopped raising interest rates. Well, back here, we did stop raising interest rates, and then, we went significantly higher. So that's also a major difference between these 2 points in time, and that's why I think this is more similar to something like that than that, okay? But anyways, okay, so literally I was about to post this video. One of our guys in Discord was talking about, you'd think the market would be dumping with the way there's job layoffs, and I'm like, dude, watch this video I'm about to upload in a couple hours that goes through all the correlations, 10-year yield, TLT, DXY, SPY, VIX, Bitcoin. Yeah, I literally, as I say this, now the market starts dumping, and we're now up, like, I don't know, what is that, $6,000? But this week so far, guys, we already made $48,500, $49,000 on my short positions earlier this week. So obviously that was from last week. If you guys were following, if you weren't following last week, I basically told you that I think already the top is in at 24,300, right? So I told you this last week that I think that was the top, right? With the possibility of, all right, maybe there's slightly more upside. Like I've been telling you, this market has no upside, right? I mean, you can literally go through my messages and the alerts and what I've been telling everyone, and then this whole analysis, literally as I'm about to post this video, the market starts dumping, you know? So anyways, dollar chart looking fantastic. There's almost no upside in the market right now. Crypto is just outperforming right now. There's more upside in Bitcoin than in stocks, right? So that's been the theme of the last 2 weeks that I've been saying that. I said, is it good time to long? I said, nah, fuck that. I'm staying in the shorts. And once again, we already made $49,000 on the short side this week, guys. So if you're in the alerts, congrats. If you're not in the alerts, by the way, guys, it's the first link down below this video to join. It's completely free to join the alerts, guys. You don't pay a single penny to join my alerts where I tell you exactly when I'm shorting. So like this morning, I told everyone, short ETH. Stop loss for any and all shorts would be if Bitcoin gets to 23,602. I sent everyone my exact position. You can see I was only up $54. I show everyone my stop loss, 23,604, risking $4,100. I send everyone the picture of the chart and my vision for the trade. I send everyone my stop loss on Ethereum, risking $3,100. And then, boom, now we're up, I don't know, 6,000. So if you want to join the alerts, that's the first link down below this video. And so congratulations to all members in Crash Alerts. I'm sorry, guys, the market starts dumping like as I'm trying to upload this video. But remember, I literally made these videos last week telling you 24,300 local top, dip to 21,600 soon. Don't be lured into buying the 24,300 top. So, you know, none of this is new news. It's just a more in-depth analysis for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. And that is over it's over $55,000 in profit this week. So congrats to everyone. Also, guys, we still are ranging overall, you know, so we haven't really made a true breakdown, right? We're dumping a couple hundred points, but we haven't truly broken down yet, right? But once we take out 22,300, that would be the bottom of the range, which, you know, I do think that's the most likely thing that's going to happen. So we either, you know, eventually we're going to break through the bottom of this range. And once again, dollar still could pull back, right? VIX could still pull back. And once again, if that happens, then Bitcoin could still come back up before breaking down later, you know? And that's what a range does to you. It tricks you into thinking that this is the time it's going to break down. And then guess what? Sometimes it's not the time. A lot of times it's not the time. Because that's what a range is. You know, 9 times it's not going to be the time that it breaks down. And then the 10th time it will be the time it breaks down. So keep that in mind. You know, I'm not celebrating and acting as if we are dumping. No, we're up like 6,000 on a small position today. I said it today in the alerts that, you know, Bitcoin's holding very well. It's not acting completely normal because Bitcoin should be getting destroyed the way the dollar chart is moving, like we discussed, right, in today's video. And so I told everyone that this is why this is a trade to not go big on, right? So we're not going big on this trade. It's just a small position. Our main short, guys, of the week was when we made $49,000 on this one, and this one. Okay, this was like all one trade that we took this week, and then we took the profit, and that was from last week, really. So yeah, guys. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't celebrate early. That's what a range does. It tricks you into thinking that this time is it. And a lot of times it won't be it. So that's why you need to have a plan. You need to know what you're doing. So guys, I'll see you later. Take care. If you want to join the alerts, first link below. I'll see you later. Bye.